very important that the museum have a standalone presence on the block, facing the park. It should not be tucked into a tower or larger development. It needs to have its own identity.
There is this great opportunity, and this is what I think excites me most, is that our firm is known for putting buildings that fit intrinsically to their place. This museum needs to feel like it could be nowhere else but Austin. I think the way you do that is to merge it, to graft it onto the park, to have the park. There could be events. We can have sculpture on Republic Plaza, we can have sculpture in 4th Street. Larry and I are committed to creating a city block that has that intrinsic character, that talks back to the old historic fabric of the city, but at the same time embraces technology and the greatest kind of spirit of innovation in the art and architecture.
So the whole lower part of downtown has been a passion and a real consuming desire to work in that area over the last 20 years for me. We did the convention center, both phases. We did the CSC buildings. We've done small planning projects for the convention center district, for the City Hall district. We've been very active in getting the 2nd Street retail district going. We did Austin City Loft, which was one of the first downtown residential buildings.
This public use, the Museum of Art, should front the park entirely. That is the beauty of this block, and it should be preserved for the public realm. The private uses should then come back to 3rd Street, and that's exactly what our design has accomplished.
I think it's very, very critical that the museum really capture that square, that it be the whole face and that it really front on the square. The commercial development ought to happen as a kind of backdrop to that, something that in the city stays a little bit away from the park and is able to really be something that is behind the museum and in a way, because the museum is small in scale, gives a little more scale, a little more stature to the complex.
Having the front door be an expression of the park and a huge porch and a place to hang out, very welcoming, and that really sets the tone for the museum. At the San Jose, we made the courtyard the lobby for the hotel, and we can imagine the porch facing Republic Plaza to have a similar spirit of being welcoming and becoming the neighborhood hangout. And when you get more and more people living downtown, the museum should reflect that.
One of the things we looked at was, could we, in the shape of this backdrop, produce something that really gave more amenity to the people living in that space? And so instead of it just being 4 square flat, if you actually emphasize the diagonal views in the elliptical form, so you get a little more distant views by pulling out those diagonals that the ellipse allows you to have. It also is a gorgeous shape. It's just distinctive. And it's a wonderful opportunity to make this tower, adjoined to the museum, not just another box on the skyline.
It's our charge to come up with a design that allows the growth and allows the flexibility to grow without impacting the workings of the museum on a day-to-day basis.
You don't need that much building right now. So part of what we're proposing is that a piece of that be built in the first phase, like that, and that there then would be a plaza, still staying public and civic, but a plaza at the corner, and then that would allow for, in the long run, the expansion of the museum that could extend out there and eventually capture the whole frontage of the park. It could grow vertically, it could grow horizontally, but this gives a lot of flexibility in the long run.
Museums change. You want curatorial freedom to, one day it could be small 12-inch by 12-inch artwork, the next day it could be huge projected videos. But the galleries themselves should be highly flexible, beautifully lit, do all the technical things that galleries should do, but at the same time, they really, unlike these galleries at the HRC, they should be, they could have the ad hoc character that's found at Art Pace, where it's an old warehouse that we just converted, and it was a perfect blank slate that allows you to do anything.
Then to give just a little sense of what it might look like in the city, This is a very quick rendering of the elliptical form of this tower, and as I said, it could be other shapes and proportions as well. And we would have a kind of halo that sat at the top of the building and gave a landmark at the top that would be lit at night, so you'd just see a kind of soft glow of this halo. So here we're at the corner of 6th Street and Guadalupe. We're looking to make it out of glass primarily, because we want lots of window and lots of vision from the inside of the building. But then for thermal reasons and for ecological reasons, we want good sun shading on the glass. So the sun shading we're showing here is made out of this wonderful wood, which is a very, very dense hard wood called ipe. This is what it looks like. It's extremely heavy. It has a very beautiful, rich color to it. But this we would use as sun shading and to some extent balcony rail on the building. But it would sheathe the building in this rich, warm, natural material. One really critical thing in a project like this is service and how you move the cars and trucks and all of that into the building. And we've chosen to put that on San Antonio. We've got an underground service area here for the whole complex. You would take a ramp down from San Antonio Street. There'd be plenty of negotiation space for the trucks here. And there would be the loading docks for the hotel or for the condominium that would come in here. And then there would be separate, secure loading for the museum at that lower level.
We imagine great streets around the entire property with active ground floor retail uses, second floor retail, restaurant, cafe uses that really create a vitality, not just during the day, as which may be the case if there were office only on this block, but also at night. So there's 24-hour vitality on this block for the museum. So the project does not go dark at night, and I think that's very important. If there's one thing that Novair Andrews Urban is known for, it is that we execute on time and on budget. In this particular project, we would like to break ground in spring of 2008, and from that point we will anticipate about a 2-year construction period so that we will have our grand opening for Museum Place in late spring of 2010.
I believe that the Austin market is absolutely ready for this kind of a mixed-use project. Everything from certainly the art aspect of this, ready for that. Ready for a luxury residential product that is linked to a luxury hotel that goes with the Austin Museum of Art. The market is crying out for this kind of product in this neighborhood.
There will come a time where the market is not as robust in the hotel or residential sectors. Right now is the perfect opportunity to undertake this project.
This is a leap forward for our city. This is something that's so critical to the future of Austin.
Have you been to the museum? Oh, well, you haven't been to Austin. That's the goal.